Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amirullah bin Anwar. My partner name is Ni Azrin Hafiz bin Omar. So today we are going to do a basic web application on web server, MySQL server and firewall server using 3 Rocky 9 VM architecture. But we are going to use a NOS 9 to do a project. Okay, first we create a firewall name. Then for the image we put OS. And for the hardware we're going to use 2 gigs. Okay, then click finish, and then the next one we name it as a web server. Do the same as firewall. Okay, click finish. And another one is for database. Okay, click the S4, right, and click finish. Okay, before that we need to setting it first on system. Setting this, use tablet, and for display, and for storage on this IDE we put CentOS 9. And for network, the first adapter for the firewall VM we're going to use a bridge adapter. Okay, and this one is allow all. And for the second adapter we're going to use NAT network. So let's use a firewall and allow all. Okay, next one is web server. Do the same as firewall. Alright, tablet, display, storage, IDE. Click OK. On network, click NAT network, firewall, allow all. Okay, do the same on database, storage, IDE. Tablet, on network, use NAT network and firewall, allow all. Okay, for the NAT network configuration, you go to tools, and NAT network already configured it as a name it as a firewall, and the IP address is 192.168.100.0/24. Alright, the first part of this project is we need to configure a network adapter on firewall virtual machine, which is we need to configure ENP0S3 and ENP0S8. So for this project, because I am using CentOS 9, I need to configure over here on setting, and for ENP0S3, I need to configure a static IP for this VM. Okay, I'll configure it. And then for ENP0S8, okay, I already configure the static IP address for both adapter. Okay, next part is we need to mask the IP table by run this following command: systemctl mask IP table, IP table, and EB table. Alright, that's it. Okay, next step we need to check the zone of the both adapter for ENP0S3 and ENP0S8 by running the following command: firewall cmd get active zone. Okay, so I already configure for ENP0S3. We need to configure it on the MZ zone, and ENP0S8 stay on public. So basically, by default, that adapter ENP0S3 basically on public zone. So how to configure it to remove it? By following run this command: firewall d remove interface ENP0S3 zone public, and click enter. Guys, this is because I want already configure it on the MZ zone. So how to add ENP0S3 adapter into the MZ adapter? Like this: firewall cmd permanent add interface ENP 0s3. Yes. So right after the configuration, just reload the firewall using this md reload. Alright, and double check the zone by md. Okay, if so. Okay, right now you can see that on the MZ zone we have interface ENP0S3 and public interface ENP0S8. Okay, for the next part is we need to configure list service of the DMZ zone and public zone. So we need to check it first. So run this command, firewall list services zone DMZ. Okay, if you can see that HTTPS and SSH already configured it, but I will show it later. The next one is public. Okay, also already configured. So how to configure HTTPS and SSH on zone DMZ and zone public. So for DMZ, just run this command, firewall cmd permanent zone DMZ at service HTTPS and SSH. Okay, already enable. And the next one is for public. You change the zone to public. Okay, already enable. And then we reload the firewall cmd reload. Okay, and then we check it back. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's it how to configure the service list for both DMZ and public. Okay, so for the next part is we going to configure IP forward by run this command NOS ctl-w net.ipv4.ip underscore forward equal 1. Okay, this is how we do it. Okay, next step is we're going to configure a web server VM. So like a firewall virtual machine, at first we need to configure the IP address. On setting, and click the setting on IPv4 and make sure set to manual to make sure the IP address is static and didn't change after this. Okay, so the next step is we're going to install the Apache web server HTTPD by run this command yum install HTTPD mod /SSL. Alright, as we can see right now that I already installed it before. So then we need to configure the HTML file. So right after the installation of the Apache web service, we need to start and enable it by run this command system ctl start httpd and system ctl enable httpd. So after that we need to install PHP MySQL by run this command yum install php dash MySQL md. So after we have done install the PHP, I need to reload the Apache web service by run this command system ctl reload httpd. Okay, and then right now I can configure the index.html file to view my web page. So just use this. Okay, this. So this file already configured before this to show our web page on web server. Okay, so next is we going to run on browser on web server to make sure that the HTTPD Apache web server is working or not. So we go to activities, open Firefox. Okay, from this we write this IP address 100.6. So if we can see that this page is currently working and it's work. Alright, so by the way, on the firewall configuration, we need to forward the port to the web server IP address. So how to do it? By run this following command: firewall cmd permanent zone tnz at forward port port 443 protocol TCP to port 443 to address 192.168.100.zip. Okay, that's it. Alright, so for the next part is we going to configure the database VM. Like the others, we need to configure the network first on setting, and then click here and go to IPv4 and make sure set it to manual and put the manual IP address to make sure it's static IP and it won't change after this. Okay, so for database we're going to install MariaDB services. How to install it? Just use yum install MariaDB server MariaDB. Okay, if you can see that I have already installed it before. So next, if we're going to configure the database. Okay, so after the installation, we need to on the service first by run this command systemctl start d and enable httpd and system start MariaDB and system enable MariaDB. Alright, so before the configuration, I need to install this first. Yum install PHP MySQL. So if you can see that I already installed it, to make sure the version of the PHP, run PHP-p. Okay, so now I can configure the database. Okay, now we are going to install MySQL. So by run this command, MySQL secure installation. Okay, by default we just press enter and press Y. We put the new password. Okay, Y Okay, this is how we install the database MariaDB. Alright, so for the next part, if we're going to create a student database, so at first we need to log in as root first. SQL root p. So we need to create database student db. Okay, now I use student base. Then we're gonna create a table. Create table student. First we're gonna put ID, auto increment, and put as primary key. Next is the name. Alright, so on web server configuration, we need to make sure that HTTPD can connect and then it can connect to DB. So to set it, we need to use set cbool tpd can network connect 1, then connect db 1. So next is get cbool grab HTTPD. Now we need to make sure that this is on and this one is on. Alright, so we run to reload the HTTPD. Alright, that's it. Okay, now we're going to create user admin on database. To how to create user is using create user admin identify by okay, now we grant all the privilege, grant all privilege on student db to admin Alright, let's see how we create user and give it all the privilege. Alright, so right now we're going to testing out the web server is work or not. So we put my name first, Muhammad Amirullah, student ID 1233534, my email and my phone number, and then I'm gonna click save. Alright, it say data anda telah disimpan, terima kasih. So that means it's work. So now we're going to check the data is stored on database or not. So we log into admin. Going to use student.bb. So select from student. Alright, right now if you can see that data is stored on the database, so it's mean it's working. So yes, connection between the web server and then the database. Alright, so right now I can run my web page configuration on all VM like database, web server, and firewall. Sorry. Okay, firewall. So right now let's try fill the form. Alright. Wall. Alright. So on database, click here and we check the data is stored or not. Yep, as we can see right now, the data is stored on the database.